librarian. Over the past couple of days, I've been thinking about something Misha said. Of course, I thought about everything she said, but one thing in particular keeps coming back. She talked about how she didn't want to miss people or think about being apart from them anymore. When I recalled those words, they stopped me cold, like a sharp slap across the cheek. In just a few months, we'll be graduating. Misha and Shizune were nearly inseparable, but after graduation, they might never see each other again. I wonder if that thought is what started all of this. If Misha were to try and talk to Shizune about it, Shizune wouldn't think about it at all. It would sadden her, and for that reason, she would try and toss it away. For someone like Shizune, who is so quick to suppress her worries, it would be easy. Misha turned out to be more sensitive than she seemed. It would have crushed her even more so because Shizune's reactions could come off as pretty cold. I don't know if that's how Shizune handled it, but it seems likely. I can understand why she would act that way. I can also understand why Misha would be troubled by the thought of drifting away from someone who is such an important part of her life. I never thought about graduation until that moment. Then I began to think things like, has it really only been less than a year? I started thinking of everyone I've met, not only Shizune and Misha, but everyone else. They were fond thoughts. Then I thought of losing them. Suddenly I could understand Misha's anxieties. It could be nice to talk to someone about it. Actually, I kind of want to. With whom? I can sense an obvious tinge of apprehension in her voice. With you. Really? Are you sure? Why me? Because you're an adult. That's it? That's... Wincing, she fidgeted a little in her seat, trying to get comfortable in a pretty uncomfortable looking way. I guess this means she's okay with it. Is it hard being an adult? Fuck yeah it is! You have no idea. If you're under the age of 18 and you're not living on your own, it is a bitch. You have to pay bills, your own bills, unless you have parents pay. I don't. I'm completely pretty much on my own. With like little help. But you're on your own, have to pay bills, which sucks. You don't have as much... I have free time, but you don't have as much free time. My current situation, I have lots of free time. But if you get a job to pay such bills, it gets harder. But, anyways, sorry. It's odd, these 6 words here, they set off that, just because. That growing up sucks ass. Yes. I don't think I'm that old, though. It's surprising that new students now, like Shizune and you, wear stuff that like perfumes or cologne. I never did. I still don't use them. By the way, you're not wearing grape cologne today. Ha! She bought that! Yeah, it wasn't working out for me. Oh, that's good. I thought the same thing. Sorry. Yuko looks genuinely sorry. I feel pain and guilt. I smile despite myself. A tiny lie like that could come back to bite me in the butt. For Misha, trying to conceal how she felt in order to put on a happy face for Shizune for so long must have been crushing. Someone I know brought up that we're going to be graduating, and I realized that I've never thought about it before. I feel stupid that I could go as long and never think about these things. I've met a lot of great people, and I've never thought about what it's going to be like to graduate and maybe never see them again. There's still ways you can keep in touch. Yeah, I guess. I feel childish. I know everyone is going to do the same thing, probably. I bet you hear this kind of problem a lot. Alright, Pepsi's gone. Now I have the water to drink. No, I haven't been working here that long. I worried about the same thing when I graduated from high school. I didn't go to the school here, though. I also miss my friends. I wish I'd kept in touch with them better. I should have tried harder. Yuko isn't really helping me feel better. And she clams up quickly when she sees it on my face. I don't want to look back and have those same regrets. I wonder if Shizune even thinks about that kind of stuff. Because she goes on sometimes about how she doesn't want to live with any regrets. Wow, that sounds impossible to me. I know, I'd only halfway wanting to agree. Even so, I think it's kind of admirable too. Kind of brave, don't you think so? Brave is a new way to put it. Yuko shakes her head insistently. It's true, though. Also kind of intimidating. Geez, you shouldn't be intimidated by high schoolers. I'll try. She turns away to start folding a sticky note over and over. Pretty idle behavior for a university student. But more importantly, I wonder if I said the wrong thing to her. Being around Shizune for so long, I can't stop reading as much as I can into every movement of silent. If Yuko were the type of person who didn't get intimidated by high schoolers, it probably wouldn't be so easy to talk to her. It's too easy to want to shed some negative quality on you of yours. When I think of everyone I know, it's those qualities that I like the best. I don't think I really regret it. I thought, as long as I could remember the good times, that was enough. I don't know. Sorry. I noticed a couple of students starting to trickle into the library and decided that my time is up. No, that was helpful. I feel like two of my friends are fighting because one of them is taking the fact that we might not see each other again after we graduate really hard, and the other is probably being stoic about it, which only makes it worse. I don't get how I'm supposed to handle this kind of situation. It doesn't seem like the kind of problem where I'll have to end up taking a side, but it could turn out that way, and then I have no idea what I'm going to do. You should tell them if they shouldn't fight. I know, fighting is bad. It's not Shizune Misha, by the way. It is. Okay, I wasn't really thinking that, though. How embarrassing. Even though I knew it would be, I still feel my cheeks redden. And even so, I still said something so transparent and blatantly a lie. But it could be that sometimes that is the right way. Do you have any books about people who have to make hard decisions? We have lots of self-help books. It's funny that I can find that surprising, because I wouldn't have only a few months ago. I meant about, not for. There aren't many, right? Yes, not many, I mean. But I feel pretty apprehensive about it. I want to talk to Shizune. I don't understand why I feel nervous about it, and that disgusts me a little. It also motivates me to look for her right then and there, although I don't have to look very hard. She's in the student council room, as always. Worryingly, Misha isn't with her. When Shizune notices me and looks up from her paperwork, the first thing I ask is where she is. I don't know. There's so much uncertainty in her answer that I can't let it go just like that. She's missing a lot of school. Are you the attendance police? That's really strange coming from the student council president. Shizune hides a laugh behind a cupped hand, and I start to think that I might be worrying for nothing, but then her laughter slowly fades away into a more serious and pensive expression. You're right. Yesterday. I catch the hint of a knowing smile on her face when she sees my poorly hidden panic at the word. Despite her best efforts, she can't help but being satisfied and eliciting surprise from everyone else to the very end. Even then, I can see that she has big concerns about how quickly her smile vanishes. Before either of you noticed me, I saw what you were saying. I'm not stupid. If I hadn't, I could still see through Misha while we were walking back, even if she hadn't told me everything later. She didn't have a big deal out of it. She didn't make a big deal out of it, but any way you look at it, it's my fault, isn't it? What did she tell you? Shizune winces at the question, though it's clearly she's been expecting it. She follows it up with a very grand gesture. A lot. Like, that I can be selfish and confusing. I try too hard to bring people around me and then push them away. I didn't know what I should do. I thought she was right to mention all these things, so I disagreed with her. That only made things worse. I don't understand. Adjusting her glasses, she looks pretty tired. I hope she hasn't been too busy avoiding Misha, but I can't help considering the possibility of seeing where this conversation is going. It's true, even the student council being this small and us always being swamped with work, it's my fault. I might have ended up driving a lot of people off and away from the student council acting like that. Shizune wags a finger mischievously, acknowledging that might is an understatement. However, from how wearily she does it, it's obvious the humor is only to put me at ease and therefore not genuine. Like Lily, for instance, she was the first person to join when I started trying to recruit people again after everyone else left, because they couldn't stand me, I guess. We managed to put together the last festival, even ran a booth together at the last minute. But I didn't like her because I thought she was selfish, always holding up us up in order to tend to one friend of hers or another, and leaving Misha and I alone to sort out things involving the whole school by ourselves. If there were any problems she was going through, she would leave us high and dry while she panicked over it, and wouldn't come back until it was solved. She would focus on it 100%, but too preoccupied to focus on any student council work. That was the worst to me, that she could be so nice and still take so many people for granted. Why even join the student council then? It seems so short-sighted and selfish, don't you think? But it's actually me who's that way. Like Misha said, always trying to put people close to me, then shutting them out. That is how I've treated her, which makes me a bad friend. And it feels like I did the same thing to you then, so I guess I'm a bad girlfriend too. Even if Misha says that, you might as well replace her. I'm angry that I screwed things up enough for it to get this out of hand. All I wanted was to... She pauses to look for the right words, hinting her fingers on concentration. Make people happy, I think. Even though that seems like a simple way to put it. And she rests her hands against her head against her hands. Shizune's bangs fall delicately across her eyes, hidden behind those polished glasses, reflecting just the tiniest bit of light. Maybe wrong to think so, but right now she seems especially beautiful, like a more complete person. Feels like this is the first chance to respond to her outpouring of emotions. Replacing Misha as Shizune's interpreter? Misha must be joking. Took all my energy to keep up with her just now, her sounding filled with gestures that I've never seen before. Likely their habits picked up from Misha and developed from years of them being together, and can never replace someone as close to her. I like you because I like you, not because I got tricked into it by you. Despite how hard she tried anyway, I continued to stare back into her eyes. Okay, I was just making sure that was Hisao who said that. Sharp as ever. I don't know why, I just had this random thought if the letters are colored, but no, it's just their names. The first time I saw them, I could stare back into her eyes, as sharp as ever. The first time I saw them, they seemed a bit intimidating to me, like the eyes of a predator. That hasn't changed, which I find reassuring. I still want to make everyone happy. Starting with Misha? She soon looks a bit annoyed that I would imply she would start with anyone else, and smiles confidently as though a friend's sadness is physical opponent. She can just strangle him to submission, of course, obviously, naturally. Taking off her glasses, she leans back in her chair and lets out a sigh. It's the first time I've seen her without them on. But I don't get a good look because she slips them back on. Oh, you bitch. But I'm too tired to start today. First thing tomorrow. Do you want to help? Yeah. And I have other student council stuff you can help me with while you're at it. Also, it turns out there isn't much other work at all. Ooh, we're gonna set things right. It's gonna be great. We're gonna have a beautiful ending. And we're gonna all walk off into the sunset. Oh, it's gonna be beautiful. Sorry. Oh. It's gonna be Shizune or Misha. Probably Shizune, since, yeah. There's no school today, so I expect to be able to sleep in late. Unfortunately, I'm awakened by someone mercilessly pounding on my door at 8 in the morning. At first, I think it could be Kenji, but then when my shouts of annoyance go unanswered, I realize it's Shizune. She immediately backs away from the door when I open it, quickly concealing something behind her back, kind of ominous. What's that? Is it a surprise? I don't really like surprises. The pleased expression on her face says that she wants me to stop being such a wet blanket, but she's too busy fumbling with what's behind her back to sign it. It must be frustrating for her, because seconds later she swings the object out proudly and also a little dangerously. Ta-da! Picnic basket. We can have lunch together, the three of us. It's not really a basket. It looks like a plastic bag. Taking a quick look inside, I can see that most of the food inside is also store-bought, not homemade. Some items have been still have price stickers on. There's a very diverse selection here, though. Even a tiny tin of caviar. I'm slowly becoming more impressed with this lunch. I pick a grape out of there and pop it in my mouth. Don't just take things like that. I spent all night perfecting this final weapon. She soon places it down on the ground to free her hands and immediately starts playfully tapping it between her feet like a soccer ball. Definitely not what you should do anything you're going to call a final weapon. Jesus. A part of my Misha to stop being so depressed plan. I stayed up all last night working on it. When we tried to order in last night, Misha barely got anything and used it as an excuse to sleep early. I won't let her get off so easily this time. The food is already here. She'll have to sit down and eat with us. It's a perfect bait, doesn't everything look irresistible? I tried to make it myself, but I don't know how to make it look all fancy, so I ended up buying everything. Still looks delicious, doesn't it? It should be. She's very perky today, juiced up as the thought of cheering Misha up. Although it's odd to see her so happy about it, I know that she's just as unsure now as she was yesterday. The only thing that has changed is that by viewing it as another sort of challenge for herself, she can put her worries aside and throw herself into it recklessly. It has worked well enough for Shizune so far. It wouldn't surprise me if it's the only way she knows how to live. It's a little early, though. It's already 8 in the morning. That's late. Even Misha gets up at 8 or 9. She goes to bed at 7 p.m., but that isn't important. It's very important. Shizune ignores me, gagging my hands by taking them in hers, instead of a more proper rebuttal. The way she lingers against me for a moment longer than expected feels really comforting. The point is, she's awake right now, walking around somewhere. Let's go find her. She sprints out the door impatiently, and her gusto as she drags me along looking for Misha makes me feel more like I'm following a hunter on a safari than looking for a mutual friend. We don't have to look very hard. Even cropped short hair, her pink hair stands out. The fact that she's not meandering around the grounds out in the open makes it even easier. Or she's just... okay. Now I'm sounding like a safari hunter. Misha! Huh? We were just looking for you. It's a good day for a picnic. You should join us. We even have caviar. Not sturgeon, of course, but really tasty. Caviar? Sturgeon? Sturgeon, oh. Sturgeon. Apparently finding it annoying to have to explain anything at length with only one hand, Shizune gives up quickly. Fish eggs. What? It tastes good. No, it doesn't. Sorry, Chin, I think I'll pass for today. When Misha starts to walk away, Shizune holds a bag out towards her, needing me to take it so that her hands can be free. As soon as it gets out of her hand, she darts in front of Misha, cutting her off. I made so much food, though. Sorry, I'm just not hungry right now. When are you going to be hungry, then? Chichan, that's impossible to know. You can guess. The tension between them infuriates Shizune, but she's trying to deal with it by trying to tear through it. But the approach isn't going to work. I thought and hoped that Misha had gotten herself together, but I guess she just cut too deep by what happened. Just cut too deep, okay. In that case, it's really out of anyone's hands. I believe that Shizune might understand that, or some level. If she didn't, she wouldn't have any doubts at all. Because she can't speak, though, I've learned to notice her hesitation. It's very clear she might as well be screaming. Misha waves her hands in front of her, not wanting to continue the discussion any further, and quickly slips away. Shizune fumes silently, reluctant to let her go, but having no way to keep her here. As Misha's back grows smaller at the distance, I wonder where she's heading off to. Is Shizune wondering the same thing? As she bites her lip in frustration.